Alright, so we are Tiny Toys Tuesdays, episode 12. We also have hit, officially on YouTube, we hit 50 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. Pretty excited, it's pretty cool. Next big achievement is, what, 100? That'd be nice. But yeah, so I guess we'll start with any news or, you know, what we've been doing in the last week. I have been building like crazy. I've got all my 40 acolytes built. I built, 3 dragon ogres, 2 chimeras, and I'm working on the forbidden power endless spells because I didn't have them, so.
You've been a lot more productive than me, I will tell you what. I have finally gotten my last 5 Black Knights, and they are half built on my table
nice.
right now. And then I have been exploring MMOs with my wife.
Oh, nice. Anything of note? Because I've been looking for an MMO that's just new and refreshing. I wasn't a fan of the Amazon one. Was it New World Order or New World or what?
Yeah, I haven't heard good things, but I haven't even tried it. I'm a very, very picky person with MMOs. Back in my grade school and high school age, I played way too many MMOs all the time, and so I just discovered that almost all MMOs are all the same, and so it's really hard to get me interested. So the only MMOs that I really like are the ones that are really, really not like the standard formula, like RuneScape or Mabinogi, stuff like that. And not a lot of people like those.
RuneScape is, you gotta like the game, right? That's a either you love it, hate it type of game.
Oh, I am a lover of RuneScape. I've been playing it for way too long. Not many people like it.
I will say that new Chrono Odyssey looks pretty damn impressive. I won't lie to you.
Chrono Odyssey, huh?
What?
I'll have to
look it up. It is. I can't. It's hard for me to believe that that's going to be actual gameplay. It's really hard for me to believe that because it's entirely too. It looks way too good to be an MMO. So, but we'll see. It looks like.
I'll have to.
Chrono Odyssey. Check that out. It's impressive. If it's actually that good from what the trailer is, I'm absolutely on board. Yeah, definitely check that out. It's pretty cool. And I think the only other thing that I have going on is I'm working on a sleeper list with hopefully some help from Colt and Cameron. I've been kind of tossing it around, seeing if I can get this thing to work. So we'll see.
Like I said, I think they're a sleeper faction that not many people are going to expect to hit.
Well, we'll see.
And
when we get closer to, I think we'll do like a recap. We have a RTT, a little store tournament on the 20th. So we'll do a little recap for that following Tuesday. But we'll see. I'm gonna see if I can get it to work. Might be tricky, but we'll see what happens.
I'll finally get to unleash the dogs to other people. Let them see the world.
Let me just not play you. I just don't want to play you.
No. We have to play every single day.
No, I'm so sick of dogs. For a recap, we have a campaign going. And I played Beasts of Chaos, and I can tell you right now, at 1,000 points, Beasts of Chaos doesn't stand up real well to Soulblight. I'll just say that.
I just used dogs.
You didn't even just use dogs. You used 2 10-packs of dogs and screened out basically the entire board. And I literally just couldn't do anything. So
it was so bad. I feel so bad about that.
It was so bad. I could have played it a little differently, but I still think no matter what outcome I would have done on that, I still don't think I would have. I was just so far behind because there's just not much you can do with that amount of recursion. Like, it wouldn't have mattered if I would have killed 3 packs of those dogs. It wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, it was rough. 1,000 points for Soulblight is pretty crazy. But yeah. All right, so today's topic, we are going over FAQs and kind of a wish list of what we think is going to happen. We have gone through, what's the count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new battle tomes without an FAQ for any of them. So pretty wild. I don't know, like this, I've never seen this before from Games Workshop. Normally they're pretty good about releasing the FAQs. I don't know if they're waiting for the GHB to drop so they can just kind of do everything at once. I'm not quite sure.
That's the only thing I can think of, is that they're just waiting for the GHB.
Yeah, I mean,
which is just going to be annoying.
It's crazy how long we've gone without a FAQ. So today we're going to go over what we think is going to be put on there and kind of like wish lists of kind of how we can maybe reel in some of these factions. Are kind of chaotic right now, but we'll see what happens. So that's the topic for today. It's not crazy long show tonight, but we just wanted to go over the FAQs before they came out. So yeah. So
what I wish they would do. Will it happen? Probably not.
Yeah. Well, some of these we might be onto something. We'll see. So I put a new slide up here for the Smite GT. If you have not heard, the Smite Club Open is happening in September. Same location it was last year. It's the biggest Arizona GT that's hosted here. So we've got a lot of good sponsors here. House of Hobbies is doing the AOS side of it, so we're pretty excited about that. As well as the other big sponsor there too is Monument Hobbies. Jason for Monument Hobbies will be doing part of the painting competition, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so if you haven't already done so, go sign up on the BCP site and get locked in there. We want to try to get to 64. I think last year we had 50 something.
I think we had 53.
Yeah, so I want to bump it up just a little bit more. So yeah, any thoughts on any thoughts on the GT, Cameron?
It's way too out there for now, and I haven't started printing trees, but eventually I will, and I'm trying to get.
We're working on the gigantic rock things, the impassable terrain right now. So it'll be fun. That'll be fun. I'm excited for that. All right. Okay, so art of the week. So I've been following this this person for quite a while. And she's got a very unique paint scheme, what she does. And this is like what I have posted here on the slide. It's just a very small fraction of the amazing work that she's done. I think I'm going to mess up her name, but Katarzyna Gorska. Definitely go check her out on Instagram. These paint jobs are insane. Like they don't even look real to me. Like the amount of work that goes into some of, like, it's incredible. The wings.
I love the terrain.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for just the terrain.
Yeah,
of things.
I like building. Kairos. Look at that base, man. That is, that's so good. And then you look at the base and the wings for Archeon. I mean, my goodness. Like, definitely my favorite painter, probably. Pretty crazy.
Just makes me want to bring out my airbrush.
I know, and I don't know how she does it, but it's just absolutely incredible. Definitely go check her out. Follow her on Instagram. These again. This is just a small showing of what she's done. It's pretty incredible. So that's the art of the week. All right, so let's get into the FAQs. I went back to the earliest tome that hasn't had one yet, which is
it's so crazy. That's so far away.
Which is of course Gloomspite Gitz. Still kind of waiting on. Now this one probably doesn't need as many FAQs as it does need point increases. So we'll just start with the point increases. Obviously, we all know Squig Herd are the egregious of the bunch. They are way too cheap for what they are. So they definitely need a
So
points increase.
I surprisingly have not fought Squighard yet. Like I fought Gloomspite Gitz, but the person didn't play any
They
Squighard.
will. I've already played. I played 2 games with the Squig Herd, and they will immediately remove anything they get into combat with, instantly. Like doesn't matter how high the save is. Doesn't like they will, and it's extreme. Like they do a ton of damage.
I'm gonna need you to play. I'm gonna need you to like play Squighard against me because I have no experience.
Sure, I can do that. We can do that. We can set up something.
I hear everybody's good and like Gloomspite Gitz even without Squighard, it's still pretty good.
So the Squig Herd definitely have to be bumped. I think the damage efficiency per point is just it's too much for the Squig Herd. Like they are putting out damage. So and then I also put on there the Squig boss as well because that's how you get a lot of that damage is from the Squig boss. And then
Yeah, all their heroes do a lot
yes,
of fucking.
I mean you're essentially moving these. You can move these guys twice.
And that's their combos.
Yes.
Twice.
Well, and you can stack them currently, I think. And that's what I have on the FAQ above. So Release the Squigs is a Squig Boss ability. I think it's Squig Boss. You know what? I'm just gonna double check. I don't want to be wrong on this. I think it's on the Squig Boss. And essentially what it is, it's movement in the hero phase. But you can stack these. Now, you have to make sure you're in range of them. So there's that.
Yeah, I really don't think that needs to be a FAQ clarification. It's just
so
it's hard to
one
do.
of the things that
you need two Squig bosses to do.
Sure,
it.
absolutely, and trust me, they will be there. There is definitely play in having 2 Squig bosses. In fact, if I were to go heavily into Squig Herd, I'd have 2 36 packs of these, or a 36 and 24, and have 2 Squig bosses right by them. Just double, release the Squigs once per battle at the start of the hero phase. You can say this. Release the Squigs. If you do so, each friendly Squig Herd unit wholly within 12 inches can make a normal move.
Ooh, yeah, I could definitely see that now that I'm looking at that.
So,
2 Squig bosses, buff the heck out of 2 Squig Herd, then you could potentially move them. What, like almost?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
A triple movement in one.
Now,
turn.
granted, your Squig boss has to be in range, so it's probably harder to pull off than what I'm saying, but. So some of the things with the FAQs,
I don't think it's
some of the things with the FAQs isn't so much fixing a rule; it's more of clarification, and that's why I put that on there. Just clarifying if it can be used multiple times, right? Sometimes it doesn't need to be changed per se. We just need a clarification on if that's the case, right? And then the other thing on the FAQ as well is the Loon Skin, which is the command trait for the Trog boss.
Oh, this is the one where you summon an endless spell? But he's not a wizard, so he can't control the spell.
So there needs to be clarification on if he controls that endless spell or not.
I'm going to bet it's going to be
I would imagine too.
It's going to be this.
I would agree with you.
But yeah, I could see the clarification.
Yeah, but it needs clarification. It just needs does he control it or not?
It's going to be the same thing with the KO spell in the bottle.
Yep.
It's just a lot less variety. That you
and again, just a clarification. Anything else from a Gloomspite Gitz perspective? I know you haven't fought them a whole lot, but anything else that any other things you want to throw out there for Gitz?
I haven't really been confused by any of them. I haven't seen any egregiousness from Gitz. I've heard a lot of stuff, but that's about it.
I don't know if Jason ever watches these, but I took Gitz against his and it was all Squig based against his Beasts of Chaos probably a month ago. Jason from Monument Hobbies is who I'm talking about. And I ran a 36 pack of Squig Herd into something. He had something. I think it was Bestigor, like a 30 pack of Bestigors or 20 pack of Bestigors or something. and then 24 into a Cygor, I think it was, and immediately annihilated it. Like just absolutely annihilated both of them. And I just looked at it and I'm like, dude, I had no idea they were going to be that crazy. Like I had no idea they were going to put that much damage out, and I just felt bad. It was a big feel bad moment because like I was not expecting that, and that was it. I mean, the damage.
See,
it's just crazy.
I'm gonna give a really out there reference. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but whenever I think of Squig Herd and like just these giant squigs or just squigs in general, I always think of like the Stephen King movie of the Langoliers, of just these heads with giant mouths just eating everything. What do they exist for? They exist to eat, and that's it. Are you in front of them? They were going to eat you.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah. But yeah, so I definitely think that's the biggest thing for them is getting that Squig Herd probably bump that cost up a little bit.
Fair enough.
All right, let's go into probably the one that needs the most work from an FAQ perspective, and always has, is KO. Excuse the wifey is home, so the dogs are gonna bark. But yeah, so KO, boy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh,
there's so many things. It's like, oh, does this? Can I do this? It's
so
just like, ooh.
As always, KO needs a lot of FAQs, and I probably don't even have them on here, so bear with me. But we'll just go through these as best I can. Because our farewell is okay. Oh,
it's so hilarious.
It's so bad. It's so bad. If this doesn't get an FAQ, it's got to be the worst enhancement in the game, right? Like.
Oh, 100%.
All right, so I'll go.
But so hilarious.
I'll read it out. This is so bad. Oh, hold on. That's the stupid app is having me restart.
So I remember this. It's an enhancement you put on a sky vessel, and whenever the sky vessel dies, you roll a dice for everyone within 3 inches, and on a 2-up, they take D3 mortal wounds.
Which works on your guys.
Yeah, the problem is that if you're a sky vessel, you're most likely want to, have people inside your vessel. And so, like, okay, not only is there a chance that your guys are just going to die when it gets exposed, now they're going to be taking damage as they die.
I think I just think this was a miss. Like, they just missed it. I think it's supposed to be enemy units. This would be literally terrible if this is the way it's supposed to be. So I'm expecting that to get the enemy keyword, and it's going to be fine.
Or is this like stuck on an ironclad or something?
This is it's just a great enhancement for one of the sky vessels. So you can put this on any of the sky vessels, but it uses your unique enhancement for it.
I could see you putting it on one of the tiny boats and then throwing it out there.
It's still bad.
Oh yeah, it's still bad, but
I'm hoping that gets that. I'm sure that's just a miss word there, and that'll be fine. Sky Warden time charges. This is the Sky Wardens and their damage on the retreat. Their mortals on the retreat. Can you do this on a boat? I just think that just needs to be FAQ'd. I know I've saw some rumors that they already have this FAQ out and are testing it from some of the world teams. And I can't remember if this was one that was gonna work or not. I think this is one they took away if you're on a boat. So this one.
It makes sense.
The other one that is a big FAQ right now, which the rumor is that this will continue to stack, is the Aetheric Fumigators. So this is the Mortals. Was it D3? Was it D3 Mortals? These are Thunderers.
So what does this?
These are the Thunderers. So there's the special model in the oh my gosh, in the Thunderers. I'll look it up right now. I'm gonna check Thunderers. It is the Aetheric Fumigator, and this does. Yeah, so this is do not make a hit roll if at the end of the combat phase you can pick one enemy within 3 inches of this model. that is armed with an Aetheric Fumigator. So if you triple stack this, you're gonna have 3 of them, right? If you do so, roll a dice on a 2-up. The enemy suffers D3 mortal wounds. So it's 3d3 in combat if this doesn't get changed, right? And I've heard that this won't get changed and this will stack, which makes these guys super good.
Gosh, and so you can have 3 of them in a 15 stack? And it's after the combat phase, so you can just snipe models.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's just D3 mortals, right? But, I mean, you're doing 3d3 mortals for anything within 3 inches of these guys, right? So, I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah, speaking of enemy unit, not
enemy
enemy model.
unit.
Yeah. So that 15 stack of Thunderers inside that Ironclad. Oh, are you in combat? Well, at the end of combat, you're taking 3d3 mortal wounds.
Pretty good, pretty good. So that just needs a clarification. Right now it does stack, so...
I could see it stacking. Like, it sucks, but you are paying the points for it.
I mean, yeah. And we'll just call that out right now. The Thunderers probably need to go up in points. They are kind of the staple of KO armies right now.
They are really cheap for 130.
They are pretty cheap, especially when you... I mean, everyone's running 15 packs of these guys. I will say, if I don't get this list to work, I will probably take KO and run 15 of these guys.
Oh man, just these Thunder, they're just so good. They're such a good save. More wounds and a not so wound heavy army. You could just put them in the boats. Now it's even harder to kill them. Oh, did I mention there's a 4-up rally? Like, they're just so good.
All right, so then the next 3 items we have here all base around the wording that when your dudes are in a boat, when the boat moves, you consider that move based on everyone in the boat. So all 3 of these revolve around this wordage, right? So if you use combat landing, and I'll read that, you can use a command ability at the end of your movement phase. That unit that receives the command must be a friendly vessel. Any units embarked in that transport vessel can immediately disembark. A unit that disembarks in this way cannot move in the same turn. So, are these guys unable to, if you disembark here, are they unable to charge or pile in?
If it says that is it that they cannot make a normal move?
It just says cannot move.
The wording right now says that you cannot charge in a
pile in.
Right,
which this needs clarification to see what... Because that definitely needs to be clarified. Because that's definitely... I think people are playing this wrong if that's the case, right? So this definitely needs to be clarified. The same thing is sky vessels that run, right? If a boat runs, can the people...
It treats everybody that's inside as run.
Can they shoot?
They cannot shoot.
And in the wordage, they won't. The people in the boat would not be able to shoot.
Yes, that's how I see it.
And I think rules is written. That's correct. They just need to clarify if that's what was intended. That's all. Yeah. And then...
All right, the Tusk Helm. Oh, man, that's such a nasty combo. Because everyone, if the boat charges, that means everyone on the boat is considered a charge. Well, the Tusk Helm cells, after they make a charge, you deal damage. Well, did they make a charge? Technically, they never rolled a charge.
Correct.
So, what happens?
It's very interesting. I think if I were to look at this, I would say this doesn't work because the unit itself didn't charge. So you could say the charge would be a 0?
So, this would be my ruling for it. Is that, yes, you do get to activate Tusk Helm's ability. Alright, you roll a number of dice equal to what you rolled for a charge. Alright, they rolled a 0 on a charge, so you rolled 0 dice on every 4.
Yep, that's how I would see it too, but it definitely needs a clarification on that. Definitely that wordage to where everyone in the boat does the same thing, everyone in the boat does the same thing that the boat did, has definitely tweaked this.
Yeah, I think their big thing is they wanted to make it so that if you ran, you couldn't shoot.
And that might be it. Just need some clarifying. I think just clarifying a couple of those little odds and ends, we'll get kind of a better idea of what they were intending. So, and again, these are all the ones that I could think of, and that I asked, our group and whatnot. So there might be a lot more that needs to be FAQ'd here, but that's just the stuff that I thought about. So, anything else on KO? Anything? I think you've played at least one. I know you played Rick at least once. Anything egregious? Anything that you think probably needs to be changed? Any wish lists here?
I just want Thunder Squad points. Yeah, I don't like I don't like fighting.
130 points is pretty cheap.
Yeah. Other than that, there's just the I don't think it's anything wrong, but there's all of the wording with what is it? The Soul Scream Bridge and being able to move through that, and then being able to dismark.
Yep. And you can
because it's not considered to be a move.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
But I don't know if that should go away or not. Like, I'm not too.
I
think that's a good combo.
Hey Mason. I don't know if I don't know what they're gonna do about the Soul Scream Bridge. I don't. Is it egregious? Probably.
Yeah, I do think it's overused just because every competitive list you see is going to be using that, and I think that it is not meant. I don't think that's the way that they're meant to play, and because of the way it's being played like that, it's skewing all of their results quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see what they do if that actually does get changed at all. We'll see if they change anything with that. If I had to guess, I don't think there's going to be any changes with the Soul Scream Bridge, but we'll see. Probably.
I give it a 25% chance that they'll go ahead and
change something. I would probably be right there with you on that. Okay, let's move on. Let's go into Blades of Khorne. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Be'lakor Archaon thing. First off, I think I'm wrong with the Archaon. I don't know. This is why I need to clarify. Maybe someone in the comments or someone on YouTube will probably yell at me up for this. Be'lakor, I know, can be put into the army currently. In its current...
Yeah?
Yes, in its current iteration, Be'lakor can be put in Blades of Khorne. Archaon, you would think he would be able to.
His own wording.
Right, and that's why I think he's fine, because he goes in there, but it is weird because you can get a wizard out of that. I don't know. It's weird. So maybe just clarifying, I almost guaranteed Archaon should be able to go into Blades of Khorne. I mean, they would be dumb for him not to be able to.
And what makes it so Be'lakor can get in? What makes it so Be'lakor can get in?
So if you look at the wording of Blades of Khorne, I'll go to it real quick. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. And Mason, you might be right. I'm going to read what it says for Blades of Khorne for this real quick. So Blades of Khorne, Maggotkin of Nurgle, Slaves of Darkness, excluding Tzeentch units, units that can or must be given a Mark of Chaos. Because Be'lakor doesn't have the Mark of Chaos, he's able to get in there. Festus, Festus and Rotbringer.
Okay, I thought they just couldn't have any. I thought they just couldn't have any wizards. So the Nurgle, I think Mason. I think you're right. I think the Nurgle wizards and Be'lakor currently can go in there. So I don't know. Yeah, if that's the wording for it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, so that's on the pitched battle profile, right? But if I go to battle traits, I just want to read this real quick. 2 in every 4 units can be a Slave's Darkness that has the Mark of Chaos. So you'd still ally in. You'd have to ally in Be'lakor, obviously, right? So. Yeah, it says Mark of Chaos or Khorne keyword and does not have the wizard keyword. So Be'lakor could go in because he's not a coalition, he's an ally. And Nurgle can as well because they don't take Nurgle's coalition. So yes, you're right. So you could take Nurgle allies in this as well. Interesting. I didn't even think about that. I don't know if Festus... Festus would be real hard to utilize. Is it only Maggotkin and Nurgle
Is
that Festus his spell works on? Hold on, now my mind is going here. You got me. Let's see. Oh, it does. It's a friendly unit. No shit. So you could. So at the start of your hero phase, you can pick one unit within 1 inch. That's the problem. It's so slow. You have to figure that out. But roll a dice on a 2 if you can heal D3 wounds allocated to that unit. So you could technically use him as a healer.
the biggest thing is that you get a wizard.
Yeah. And then you subtract 1 from save rolls that target that unit for their spell. So yeah, that's his spell is the 14-inch range. You subtract 1 from save rolls for the rest of the battle. So that's really good too. Man, that's actually man, way to bring that up, Mason. That's a really good thought. Now my mind's going. I'm like, can I make this work? That's pretty cool. Yeah. All right.
I like it.
I do too. I definitely like that. Cool. All right. Okay, and then the other thing that I was looking online, and there are a lot of FAQ questions that are based on spell ignore right now.
How so?
There were a lot. I didn't put specifics in here. It was just like, it would be like, I'd be scrolling down and I'd see one, and then I scroll down, they'd have another one, and then they have another example and another example. So to me, it seems like it's pretty self-explanatory as far as like what they came out with in that last FAQ about the auras and all of that stuff.
Yeah, because the last FAQ took care of auras.
Right. But maybe I just put this on here because I saw a lot of that. So maybe they just clarify some examples that people are throwing in there. But I just thought I would throw that out there. For the most part, from an FAQ perspective, I think Blades is probably fine. The other thing I noted on here that everyone wants, which I do agree, is Murderlust needs to be further down on the table. The fact that you only need 1 point to do Murderlust is way too good, way too efficient.
Is that D3 or is that just 3 people move D6?
It's 3. I think it's flat 3. It's real good. It's real good.
Like, yeah, that's good. Is there more points? I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on it. I could see it becoming more points, but
I'm just double checking it.
It's the fact that you can go into combat.
Up to 3 different.
That's the big thing. Friendly
blades of Khorne. It's more than 3 inches. And they can finish the move with her. Yeah, it's. I think it's too much for one blood tithe blade. I think it needs to move down the table a little bit. And even if this moved down the table, guess what? People are still going to save their blood tithe points to use this, right? So I do think that
force your opponent to be in combat, do all that fun stuff.
I really do think this probably needs to be moved down. And honestly, I can see them doing that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Other than that, I think Blades of Khorne is fine. They're obviously a rock paper scissors army. There's things that definitely they have bad matchups for sure, but they're doing pretty well right now in the meta. So anything.
Again, one I haven't fought yet.
So not too much there. Okay. Well, this next one you have used quite a bit, and that is Slaanesh. So yes. Let's go through these real quick. So one of these things that you brought up was Mesmerizing Mirror, and I didn't even think about this, but when you sent this to me, I was like, "Wow, dude, that's really good. That's really, really good."
So like the list is like you get that really cheap like little boar beast from Beast of Chaos. That's like 55 points, and you just get like 4 or 5 of them, and then you just put the Mesmerizing Mirror down. And then you just go, okay. And then you move forward, and then you get like 10 to potentially like 30 points every turn. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
Definitely needs to be clarified. The Mesmerizing Mirror is the one where you move within, and you can take damage, or
If you're within the range and if you move away from it, you take damage. But everyone within 6 inches, at the end of every movement phase, you roll 6 dice, and every 6, that player can choose to either give the Slaanesh player depravity or take damage. Well, since you're affecting yourself, of course you're going to give yourself
Correct, yeah.
depravity. You're going to make all these hogs be extremely depraved as they look at
and the biggest keyword on there is this does not affect Hedonites of Slaanesh, right? So that's why people didn't think about it. But if you ally something in, well, now
they don't have this. They don't have the Slaanesh keyword,
so.
or they don't have the.
Pretty cool.
Slash
I didn't even think about that, but man, once you brought that up, I was like, man, that's. Are people running it that way right now?
Probably.
Man, that's a big brain move.
The
right
problem
there.
is that Slaanesh needs to be a very quick army, so you need to be like a 1 or 2 drop, and doing it that way makes
That's
it
fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. So there was something on here as well. From modifiers to attacks. That's something I saw online was clarification on attacks after a modifier. So there's a lot of minuses to like debuffs that Slaanesh gives out to minus attacks. And then there was a lot of questions on what happens if someone gets +1. Is it still minus, or does it revert back to like I think there needs to be a clarification on if someone gets buffed attacks after you give multiple minus to attacks, how does that interaction work?
Do they still get the +2 attacks?
So.
Yeah. My instinct says that you do the same thing for like hit and wound, where it's at that minimum. So you just add all the modifiers together and do it. But the way wording works, I could see you like going to the minimum 1 attack and then doing a +1.
Yes, I do think that how I would read it, the timing of when this happens, most of the time you're getting this -3 attacks in the hero phase or something like that, right? And if I'm the opponent and I'm getting a +1 to attacks, I'm now going to increase that by 1 instead of, during that time when I activate whatever gives me +1 to attacks. So I think it's a timing thing as well. So there just needs to be a clarification on this. I think I can see that coming up quite a bit. In just like tournaments.
I can see it.
That probably needs to be clarified. And then, so I don't think that this needs to be FAQ. I think this is pretty.
Well, what's escalating?
This is. Let me go find it.
Is this a spell?
I think this is
or?
on Shalaxi's War Scroll. I'm just gonna double check.
Alright, no, this is a battle trait, Escalating Hack. This is a heroic action that you can carry out with one friendly invader hero instead of picking one from the table. If you do, pick one eligible command trait from the list below that the invader hero does not already have. That hero is considered to have that command trait. So
yes.
the question is if I put a named hero in this named hero in this subfaction, can I give that named hero a command trait?
Yep. I would say no, because the core rules tell you can't. But
I say it's still no because it's pick one eligible command trait, and they're not eligible.
Maybe not so much an FAQ, just a clarification, right? Just a clarification that does not work on that, right? That would be an easy one that Games Workshop does the easy no answer to. So that's one. As far as just other things, so the Lord of Hubris. This is the little combo where you get the Lord of Hubris in. All your attacks have to go. The Phantasmagoria gives that unit, they have to attack the Lord of Hubris, and then Lord of Hubris can get the heck out, so you technically don't attack anything. It's a little combo with the Lord of Hubris.
I find it great. I don't think it needs to be changed.
If you can get this to work,
then
more power to you.
If you have the cojones to do this and get it off, all the power.
I agree. I don't think this needs to be an FAQ. But I mean, whatever. If someone did this to me as an opponent, I would just chuckle. I'd just be like, okay, man, whatever. Like, you made it work.
I put this in the same camp as you just got what is it? The spell mirror, the spell portal, and then Nagash Hand of Dust you. Like, all right, fair.
Sure.
I'll give that to you. I don't like it, but
Sure.
okay, fair enough.
And then the last thing I had on here, as we've gotten through more and more tomes and time has gone on, there has been some words that the temptation thing is a little bit MPE. We'll see as time goes on. Obviously, there's nothing they can change on that because that's a core mechanic of the book.
Well,
but
what does NPE stand for again?
non-player, negative player experience. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
So just like it's a negative, like if it's a real feel bad, right?
That's fair. I could see that.
I mean, you played them, right? Did you feel
Yeah.
that was the case?
All right, I've had my opponent laugh more times than anything else, but if you are versus someone who if you're versus someone who's playing Slaanesh and they are a not fun person to play against, I could see this being just like digging a hole.
Okay, that's fair.
For him.
That's fair. Like
Like,
yeah, I can see that. Like I could see this being MPE in like a very competitive GT setting, right? And it just being like a real big. Now I've not faced Slaanesh with this yet, so I don't know, but I'd be curious to see if this was a big feel bad moment. I did watch. Oh my god, what channel was it? I'm forgetting the channel, but one of the guys in there, instead of giving dice out, he gave candies, like little chocolates. So whenever they did it, and I thought that was a pretty cool little concept. If I were running Slaanesh, I would do that. I would do that.
The last tournament I went to, I brought a whole bunch of lollipops of Dum-Dums, and then whenever I played someone, I'd be like, all right, are you going to give in to temptation? And then I offer them a Dum-Dum.
Yeah. I think that's cool. That's such a cool little concept because, Slaanesh, I still like the mechanic a lot. I know it's not great, and I know it slows down the game quite a bit, but, man.
I don't know. It hasn't slowed down the game for me.
Yeah.
Mostly because the way it works is Slaanesh is, if you get to me, I die.
I think what slows down the game is your opponent, right? Because they have to now decide, do they want to take the D3 or do they really want that 6, right? That's where it slows down. You on the person playing Slaanesh, I don't think it does, but I think the person who's against them, they might take longer to decide.
That's fair.
So. Yeah. So anything else with Slaanesh? I know you've played them quite a bit. So any other FAQs you want to see? Anything else you want to see? Any points that need to go up or down or any of that? Did you feel the keeper was priced right?
Keeper's. The keeper with the shield, I think, is good. However, I think the keeper has died in every single one of my games except for one.
That's fair. I mean, but that doesn't surprise me, right? You want the keeper in a combat anyway. Right?
Yeah. He is pretty expensive, but I can see his point value. I see his use.
Okay. Anything else? Do you think Contorted is priced right?
Yeah.
I think
it's so easy to kill.
Not right now. It's not. Contorted is super hard to kill right now.
Oh, just because it's a GC.
Yeah.
That's it.
That thing is so hard to kill. 2-up mortal wound negation. You can't shoot it. You can't
Once GCs are out, it will be really easy.
No, I'm with you. You shoot that thing off the board like turn 1, easy, done.
While GCs are not out, it is really hard to kill if you screen right.
You put that thing on a lunchbox and you just ship it over. Good stuff. The days of me playing Legion of the First Prince. God, I miss that army. Alright, moving on. OBR. So this one's probably, in my mind, probably the best faction that I think doesn't need so much FAQs, right? It's probably pretty good. I think the one thing that everyone is talking about is the Immortus Guard needs development points, which I totally agree. I don't know how they price that with the current war scroll it has. It is so cheap.
I don't know.
So yeah, that probably doesn't need to go up. So that's pretty egregious. I think people are gonna.
And it's really funny because you can like just directly compare it to like its alternative.
Yeah. Like I think the guard is priced at where it is much better than Stalkers, right? So I mean, yeah, it'll go up. I'm sure guard will go up.
I did not know that the Gothazar did not have the
It
behemoth
doesn't.
keyword.
Yeah. So it also changes the battalion slot quite a bit, right? So definitely needs to. I'm sure that was a miss. I imagine that will be FAQ'd. The other thing was, let's see, clarification of the last still you. I think rules is written. Protection of a gash stays on until it's used, but I think just a clarification, just to let people know that that's the case instead of till your next hero phase. And it doesn't say it till next hero phase on the spell, so it's
Really, it doesn't. Oh my god!
I
that's so
think
amazing.
pretty sure, right? Pretty sure it's. See, now I'm gonna look.
Yeah. It's just it goes off until you take wounds
Correct.
from any phase.
So there needs to be clarification on if that's the way they intended it to be.
I love that actually. That's kind of
Yeah, so you just cast it once and you're done with it. It's still not as nearly as good as it used to be, but it's fine, right? It is what it is. Yeah, so I think that's it. That's all I could come up with OBR. I don't know if there's anyone else that is kind of waiting for an FAQ for this, but I thought a lot of this stuff was pretty self-explanatory. So
Yeah, really the only thing for me is the more discard
Yep.
point increase. That's it.
Yep.
Or stalker point decrease.
So I could see that. I do think I've always thought. So that's one thing I think about OBR. I didn't put it in here, but the one thing I think about with OBR is I do think they are all priced just ever so slightly high. I do feel like this army is missing a unit on the board. I think so. I don't know if that's the right. I don't know if that's the right goal, right? To make stalkers cheaper. I don't know if that's right, but I do think OBR is just slightly priced high, just ever so slightly.
It's because of their use of
Yep,
command abilities. It's so.
It
good
is.
for
It
that.
is. But I do think you're just missing one unit on the board.
All right, so yeah, more discard points go up or stalkers go down. I'm okay with either one.
I doubt stalkers will go down. So is Nurgle though. Nurgle's Mason, I agree to a point. Depends on what type of list you're running.
You don't ally in Nurgle to other ones because they just
Mortec
they lose,
definitely
like their biggest
go
thing.
down. 100%.
Oh,
Mortec
100%.
need to go down.
I hate
They are
Mortec.
way too expensive for what they are. And
All right, Mortec goes down 30 points, and we go to
30
Mortec spam.
30's a lot. 30's a lot. I don't know about that. All right, so we'll move on. Okay, yeah. Well, when you're playing 3x10 Rotmire, like, I don't have any sympathy for you. I'm sorry, Mason. I just don't. All right. Soulblight. This one you know very well, Cameron.
Yes, I think I'm the one that gave you all of these.
Yeah, I think pretty much, yeah. Some of these we talked about, right, during our review of the book, but we'll start with the points increase, right? Deadwalker zombies need to go up in points. Just flat out, they're too cheap. They're way too cheap. I will call myself out right now. I said zombies weren't going to be as good as they were previously. I am wrong. I think they are, now that we're seeing things and I'm rethinking it, I think they're going to be egregious. I think they are way too cheap, and I definitely think they need to be increased for sure.
Like, put them up like 10 to 15 points.
Yeah.
They're just so cheap for what
Right.
they do
And I think if you don't do that, people are going to make a mess of zombies, and no one wants to play that.
Yeah, what was it?
320
It was my
zombies or something stupid.
300 and I think it was 360 zombie
Something
list.
stupid like that. It's just Yeah, great. I'm just gonna pack up and go get a beer. Like, I don't need to play this.
I'll come join you. I don't want to roll these dice.
For real. All right, let's get into FAQs. I think the biggest one here, right, that everyone, well, there's two, right? There's two of them that are probably the biggest ones. Neferata's Mortarch of Blood, where you can, at the setup, you can pick up, was it 3 units? D3 units?
Yeah, it's 3 units plus
Yeah,
Neferata.
and you can pick them up and move them. It does not clip. It does not specify you have to be 9 inches away from your enemy territory, so this is going to make things bad.
You just give her the same wording that Bastion
Sure,
has.
absolutely. Yep.
Like, and it fixes
Yep,
everything.
100%. I think it's an easy fix. If they did intend for that to be, that's crazy to me, but we'll see what they say.
And then Neferata needs to go up points. Because Neferata by herself is already really good.
Mason, I changed it. On my side, it says Soulblight. Maybe refresh the stream.
Yeah, for me it says Khorne. As for me it says
Okay.
Soulblight.
You said Khorne. I was like, oh, great. My thing's broken.
I was looking at the Khorne, but no.
And then the other one is the Virkos Pack Alpha. This needs to be changed because
I don't want it to be changed. Don't get me wrong.
it's stupid. Just duplicating corpse cards is not good.
It's so stupid. It's amazing. It's
we
so
don't need
stupid.
people to bring 20 corpse cards to the game.
Well, you know how amazing.
You're just gonna screen out the entire board
with just corpse cards, and my opponent's just gonna
What's
look at me like I'm crazy.
What's the base size for corpse cards?
Yeah,
I mean, I'll look it up.
The normal bases. It's chariot base.
Yeah, so you're just literally no. It's gonna be changed. I actually wouldn't be opposed to Kasargi not changing. I think they should. But if someone's gonna go buy that many Kasargi, like, more power to you.
So, besides the funny side of the duplicating card, I think duplicating cards is just stupid and funny. I don't actually think it's...
No, it's not good, but you can still...
However,
that can still be damaging.
Duplicating Kasargi, I think, is actually really good.
Yeah, the problem is you have to go buy the Kasargi card.
I'm just going to 3D.
Well, okay, sure. You have that going for you. Sure.
That's...
At
that point, I'm going to 3D print 10 of them, and then I will have this really, really good unit. Just... If you don't kill me, it's going to be hard to kill, and I'm just going to be able to kill everything.
Mason, I disagree. So, has such limited models compared to the rest. Yeah, maybe specific models, right? But Neferata can still, like, anything you bring in there, that as long as it doesn't have another sub-faction keyword, it gains the Legion of Blood sub-faction keyword, right? So,
well, what's going on is, like, you're going to be taking Neferata, and then you're going to be taking 1 to 2 dragons or some.
Or we were talking about it.
Blood.
You put in a wizard, and now it's able to cast spells within that range, right? Because it's no longer 18 inches out, right?
If you make it non-monster, then you're going to see a spam of Blood Knights, which, in my opinion, are better. The only reason why they're better in Legion of Blood is because of the next one, which is the Unparalleled Expertise.
Yes, and this one just needs to be a clarification on if both mounts and bear are affected, or if it's just the bear.
I think it should be just the bear.
I agree too.
The fact that it works on the mounts right now makes them really good.
Yeah. Now,
I get a free Dragon Bite? Hell
there was
yeah.
something. There's a word, or there's some wordage in the core rules that clarify.
Its command traits and artifacts only affect the bearer, not the mounts. But it's only command traits and artifacts, not subfactions.
Correct. So it needs to be clarified, right? It needs to be clarified. I'm sure it will be. I think that one will definitely be clarified. I expect it to be just the bearer, right?
Yeah, I hope it's just the bearer. I think it'd be a lot funner to fight against if it's just the bearer. Yes, and the flaming weapon was
yes.
mount. And that's why only command traits and artifacts affect it. Spells is not one of those.
And then I have Curse Reflection. What is this one?
What is this from? I can't
I'm
remember this.
looking. I don't remember. I don't know if this was a.
Mason, Blood Knights are really good damage output.
First Reflection.
Like, just put them in comparison to pretty much the entire army. I think Blood Knights have the highest DPS out of the entire army. And their mortal wounds come from when they move, when they charge, and when they pile in. You can just mortal wound small things to death, and because they have the -2 to rend, they're one of the few things in the army that can actually punch through saves. And then you just put them in Castelli Dynasty and they destroy everything.
Oh my gosh, where was the Cursed Reflection? Hold on. Now I gotta know, because it's gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sold on dragons. I know that they're good, but I still think they're just a little bit too expensive.
I mean, you definitely are starting to sell me on not taking them.
Because I did the comparison between a vampire dragon that charged with a blood knight that charged, and like the blood knight is like 3 times as much damage. It's just like their damage is actually quite low. The only thing that makes them good is that healing.
Okay, I am looking. Cursed Reflection. It's on the Vengorian Lord. Oh yes. Oh yes. I remember what this is. Okay, so Vengorian Lord has a spell that is a casting value of 5 and a range of 24. If successfully cast, pick one friendly Soulblight Gravelords monster, wholly within range and visible to the caster. That unit can use the Hunger ability from the caster's War Scroll, from the cast from his War Scroll until your next hero phase. So does this stack?
Why would it stack? It just means that you can use that ability.
Right. Put this on a vampire. Put him on a vampire lord on zombie dragon. It's using the hunger and using the hunger again.
Can you use the same ability
Well,
twice?
it's weird because it's...
If I remember...
I don't think you can, but it needs clarification. I don't... Obviously, that's not the way it's intended.
I'd also say no, because it says you can heal a max of 6 from hunger.
Right. From one of... yeah, I don't know. It needs to be clarified. It just needs to be clarified. I think someone was trying to game that, right? Which is fine.
Like, I think it's a very cheeky thing to do, but it's not.
No, I agree. I think someone's trying to game the system on that, but it definitely needs clarification. Okay. Skaven needed the 2 separate wording for death and dreaded death. First thing that comes away. Yeah, and I think obviously that's well.
Things of the same name don't activate twice.
Correct. It's just weird because it's a spell that gives an ability, which is because you're using it from this caster's. It's weird, right? I think because you're using it from a. I don't know. I can actually see it being played both ways. That being said, it needs clarification. It's not the way it's supposed to be intended. Clearly. So it just needs to be just fixed, and just we'll move on with life, right?
I still love the idea of it happening with the Vampire Lord and Dragon, because now the vampire's hungry and the dragon's hungry. If anything, you're just starving your monsters.
Alright, okay. Oh, Black Knights. Now that we...
I could see them
yes, Black Knights. Yeah, I think they definitely need to go up. I think they're way too cheap right now.
The problem is that they're one of the few things that can deal damage. They're kind of easy to counter. I don't know. And besides that, they don't do that much damage.
I think they
besides
10
their
points.
chargeability.
Sure, they are cheap though. I think they're too cheap.
Yeah, they are pretty cheap.
All right, hold on. Last is Seraphon. Now, obviously, this is just come out, right? So we need to. There's probably some more FAQs that I'm missing in here, but definitely the ones that everyone's talking about are on here.
My favorite one is Drain Magic. Oh
God,
man, I love that wording because it's so
bad.
useless.
It's so bad. Clearly, that
I
is
mean,
going.
you're going to get a bonus to this. This just proves that they didn't look at all their.
Correct. They just need to reword the Drain Magic and it'll be fine. But it's real bad.
Relook at all of their abilities that regard anything with magic.
So that one needs to be just reworded. Telepathic Summon, that's the one. Okay, so this one needs to be fixed because currently with Umbral Spell Portal, you're casting this, you're throwing 30 Source Warriors in your opponent's face like turn 1, and you're saying good luck. Like, this is. I don't think that's the way it's intended. I don't think that's the way people want to play. Like, this needs to be changed.
It's not what's intended, but that's what's.
For anyone that doesn't know, Telepathic Summon is the one where. What's the wordage?
All right, so you take a Saurus unit that you can see, and you teleport it to be back wholly within 9 inches
Correct.
of the caster.
Yeah, perfect. Yep.
The problem is that you can go ahead and use the banner, the Saurus banner thing, to get plus 6 inches to the
Thanks,
6
Assassins.
inches to the
Appreciate
range.
it.
That's 15 inches. And then you can also take the Umbral Spell Portal, throw it forward 18 inches, and like, all right, I'm going to send this 30 stack of Sauruses over here, and I'm just going to put it in combat with your entire army. Because it doesn't say it has to be outside of 3 inches, doesn't say it has to be outside of 9 inches. And you are within range of my caster, because my caster is considered
And
over there.
they can move afterwards.
Yes. But why would I do that? I would just put them in combat.
Sure, but if you wanted to. If you didn't kill everything with mortal wounds turn 1. So it definitely needs to be changed. Again, I don't think it's the way it was intended to be used, so it just needs a clarification on that. And then obviously the last one that everyone is talking about is Lords of Space and Time and the whole Oracle teleport shenanigans.
Yeah, a Slann can cast spells through an Oracle. There's only one Oracle. It's the Skink on the Troglodyte. So you just teleport the Skink on Troglodyte 9 inches from your opponent, and then all 2 or 3 of your Slann just blast your opponent. Because hey, now you're within 9. Now you're 9 inches.
All your support pieces probably gone. Like, you're just. Yeah. It's just. So we were.
Oh, I'm just gonna cast endless spells one after another through. I'm gonna croak you to death.
Cameron and I were thinking about this, and we were trying to figure out how they could FAQ this. And I think the real easy way to do it is just say, non-monsters can't do it. Which sucks because you wouldn't be able to. You couldn't do it with like Bastiladons. That would be kind of a bummer because they're so slow, right? So that does kind of suck. I don't know. I think this is going to be a extreme problem as we go forward with Seraphon. If you didn't like Seraphon in the previous book, you're not going to like him now. So yeah, I don't know how they fix that, but it's got to be fixed because that's just going to be an absolute nightmare to play against. It's the most unfun army to play against, I think.
Is the Star Priest considered an Oracle?
No, I don't think so. I thought the only Oracle was the Trog, but let me double check. Oh, you know what? I need the other book because it's not updated in there. I don't know. I don't remember.
So it's any wizard within 12 or any Oracle anywhere on the map.
I mean...
Yeah.
The difference is...
I'm going to put all of my Slann in a corner, so you won't be able to unbind me. And then I'm going to throw my Oracle 9 inches away from you. I could throw it in your back line, who cares? And then just pound you to
Mason,
death.
I think the big thing is so if you were to remove the monsters being able to do this, right? And you were to teleport a wizard, the downside of doing that, right? Currently there's not any downside to moving your Troglodyte super far up, right? 9 inches outside of any opponent. If you were to do this with a wizard, however, because it's start of hero phase, your wizard's now not going to have bonuses to cast or anything else, right? So there's some negative aspects to moving a wizard out, right? They're not 14 wounds or whatever the Troglodon is. They're 9 for if you're going to move your Slaanesh out there like that. But I think there's going to be, if you're moving your Slaanesh or a wizard 9 inches from your enemy, that's a real big bite to take from a Seraphon player, because you're putting that thing out there, and if you lose that in Starborn, that's a huge detriment to your army.
So the biggest thing is, why would I want my wizards with anywhere next to the front line when I could put them way in the back line to not be unbound, and so you have to waste 1 to 2 turns to be able to even get to me.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that happens to me is I just teleport myself.
For Starborn, you're going to see that all the time. You're going to see all of those wizards bunched up in the corner as far away as possible, because there's no need for them to be close. There's just no need. You can cast all your spells through the Oracle, right? And I think that's the problem. If you had to teleport a wizard, you're putting a lot more investment into that could potentially come back to bite you. Right. And at least if you're doing that, it's way more detrimental than moving a Troglodon 9 inches away, right? Like that. You want the Troglodon to be in combat, right? You want it to be close.
Like the list I have is, I have the potential to throw at that Troglodon, hit you hard, and then summon in 10 Saurus Guard right next to the Troglodon, 7 inches away from you, and so it's going to be just so impossible to wipe me from the map, which will just allow me to do it again next turn. And now there's this massive roadblock right in the way.
So, again, we'll see what they do, if they do anything. If they don't do anything, Lords of Space and Time, I'll be bummed, really bummed.
I'll be sad.
It's going to make Seraphon just really unfun to play. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think the Coalesce side of the book is really good, other than the telepathic summons.
I want to fight the Coalesce side. Like, I think that's actually a fun play.
I will say, if something doesn't happen, I think Croak. Well, even if it does, I think Croak and Troglodon probably need to go up in points. The thing with Troglodon is, in Starborn, it needs to go up in points. In Coalesce, it probably needs to go down in points. So it's, I don't know what you do with the Troglodon.
I don't know, having an aura -1 to hits.
Yeah.
Good. And it still has its effect. It's just the slot isn't as
well.
good.
Yeah. I mean, you're not doing near as many mortals in Coalesce. I mean, you can still do them, but you're not. I don't know. I might take Croak and Coalesce. I think there's better things to spend it on, but
I wouldn't take Croak.
yeah, I don't think I would either.
There we go. A fan of the Agrodons. Heck yeah.
You know, I was watching Warhammer Weekly for the Seraphon show, and I'm with them, man. I'm down on Agrodons. You're paying those points also to get that rage ability, which doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. That rage ability does not make any sense on their War Scroll. None. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to charge and kill something, or do you want them to stay in combat? Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Their War Scroll is completely countering each other. Like, it doesn't make any sense on what they're trying to do with the Agrodons.
It makes it so if your opponent charges into them and if they don't kill them, it just means that they're just going to hit even harder.
Yeah, but
like, I agree.
9 times out of 10, those Agrodons are getting into combat before you're hitting them. I don't know. I don't like the War Scroll. I just don't.
I love them, and I want everybody to use them.
I'm not a fan of either one of the Raptors or the Agronauts. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I mean, I'm probably wrong, but it's fine.
Yeah, we already know.
Anything else on Seraphon?
I don't want to fight Croak in Starborn, and that's about it.
Because of Starborn, I am very, very intrigued on running Null Myriad.
Won't happen. It's not good.
Null Myriad. How is that not good?
It's so restrictive of what you need to do. For one buff.
A 2-up spell ignore is pretty good.
And you know what that 2-up spell is useless against? Roughly half of all the armies. In the game.
Half? You might be a little high on that.
Fight one Khorne player and be like,
what?
wow.
What? You have Khorne?
Alright, it's going to be useful
Like
against
Nurgle would still be good?
Lumineth. It's going to be used very little.
Very little, but still, like, Gifted Disease, that thing sucks.
Yeah, but, like, what are you missing out on?
Yeah, and to Mason's point, all of the top things right now are magic. How about this?
Yeah.
Null Myriad
Okay.
in the current GHB. It's good. It's good. I think Null Myriad in the current GHB, because of the magic-heavy armies, Seraphon, Tzeentch, Lumineth, Skaven.
If you are going towards meta, going against meta, I should say, I can see you using it. If you're going anything that isn't like one of the Taylor listed armies, it's.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you take Catacross and Null Myriad, sure. I mean, I think you're fine. Sure, you might not be getting that buff, but
fight any destruction player.
Another one too is like, okay, so you run Petrifex, right? If you're fighting an army that doesn't do any 2 damage things, it's just a bunch of 1 damage garbage, it doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, I mean, whatever. That's probably a little bit more of a niche.
That's why you just always take Mortis Praetorian.
Yeah, I mean, Mortis Praetorian is good though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Mortis Praetorian's pretty good.
Yeah. That's why do you think my go-to is Mortis Praetorian? It's not tailor-made. It's not list
I mean,
made.
again,
it's just always good. No
we always say movement wins games. Being able to anti-charge things is pretty good. Pretty good.
Just remember, I beat your 1,000-point list with 3 dogs.
Okay. All right. Okay. I play poorly, and 2, your recursion and Soulblight is retarded. Okay.
I didn't even do.
Yeah, but even if I would have killed them, it wouldn't have mattered. All right.
Which just makes it even worse.
Soulblight is so bad in 1,000 points. You know it is. You know it is.
I don't know. I haven't had it happen
okay. Yet. All right. So that is it. That's all we got for the FAQs. So we're at the end of the show, which is good. This actually went a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Next week we've got a fun one. Erica will be on, and we're gonna interview our House of Hobbies third-party painter, Zach. I don't know if he likes to be called Zach or Zachary, but he has painted a literal crap ton of our armies. And I say our armies, not my Erica's. I know Cameron and those guys, George and Matt, Autumn, all those guys, gals, paint their own stuff, and I give them credit. But when you don't have the time to do it, Zach comes in clutch and gets a lot of our stuff painted. And he's a great painter, so we're going to have him on next week and do some kind of interview questions for him. But yeah, so that's what's coming up next week, so it'll be a fun one. Then a couple weeks from that, we'll start getting into more of the tournament scene. It's been kind of light here in our area as far as tournaments go, so we haven't really been able to...
I know. It's been a drought.
It really has. So it should start picking up here. We have a GT in probably like a month-ish. Oh my god, it's in an actual month. In a month from now. Oh yeah. Man, I need to get on it. So we have that coming up. So we'll do a lot of pre and post shows as far as the GTs goes, recaps and whatnot. So we'll go through that. Cameron, do you know if anyone? We're in Phoenix, Arizona, Mason. Do you know if any of your guys are signing up for the GT? Is it?
I'm going to try to get them to, but
because right now I think it's just you, me, and Erica. So it'd be cool to get some more people on that June GT. I'm flying down for that event in June. Nice, very cool. We will have to meet up. That's awesome. Okay.
Gonna play my dogs.
Just stay away from me. If we get paired, like first round came up. So pissed. All right.
It happens every single time. Every single time there's a GT or an important event, I always play someone I know first game.
Well, hopefully it's not me. It could be Erica. Give her the sacrificial lamb. Okay. Well, anything else, Cameron? You want to go over? Pretty short show, but it was a good one, and I'm glad we'll see how many of these FAQs we get right. So, other than that, we'll talk to you guys next week, and everyone have a good night.